Hey, what's up you guys? It is me, Brian Motionless here, and welcome to the next episode of Conspiracy Fridays, the show where we take a normal everyday subject and throw at you 3 conspiracy theories that I personally believe to be the creepiest I could find. Today, these conspiracy theories aren't exactly conspiracy theories, because they are more true than are faked. Today we're going to be talking about cults. Now, when you think of cults, you may be thinking of satanic cults, religious cults, all these different things come to mind when you think of cults. Cults have been around for centuries, and they are definitely very creepy, and lots of things can happen in cults. From getting members to do risky things, to worshipping some sort of god or goddess. That's what you really think about when you think of cults. However, these cults will definitely make you think twice about what really a cult is and what isn't a cult. Now, I will give you a fair warning that these 3 cults are some of the scariest cults that you may have heard of. There are other cults out there, however, I didn't only want to focus on 3, because these 3 I've just recently found, and it just blows my mind of how this all happened. So let's get into that. Cult number 1 is the Matamoros Human Sacrifice Cult. This cult was started in March '89 by a University of Texas student named Mark Kilroy. He went missing while on spring break, and he'd been staying at the South Parade Island, but in the night in question he'd been checked to venture out to the border of Mexico and seen without a trace. His ritual death and dismemberment had been carried out in service to a religion, a bizarre drug-deemed occult religion practiced by an American marijuana smuggler operating out of Mexico. Authorities were led to the grave containing Kilroy's body, with other dismembered humans with it. The drug smugglers believed that human sacrifice somehow magically protected them from being caught by the police and would even make them bulletproof. They were mistaken when they were recently arrested. The gist of this is that Alfred de Jesus and Sarah Alvaro, I cannot pronounce names, believed that human sacrifice could protect them from being caught by the police and would then convince followers to target humans for sacrifice. Rumors were spread in the 1980s with the satanic panic that cults would be kidnapping children to sacrifice them for rituals. The cult ran up to about 1989 until they were found and arrested and were charged with many charges, including homicide. This cult is very disturbing to think that the fact that they would start kidnapping people to sacrifice them to some sort of god in order for them to smuggle drugs so they can ward off the police or something like that, and it's just really disturbing to think that could actually happen. I don't really understand why they would do that, but it is just very disturbing to think that there's people out there who think that they can escape the police by kidnapping children and stuff, and it's weird. But yeah, that doesn't really make any sense, so I don't know what else to really think about it, but that's really just creepy. Cult number 2 is the Order of the Solar Temple cult. This cult goes that in 1984, Joseph D. Marubu and Luke Jorrit formed from the Order of the Solar Temple. Followers from Switzerland to France and even Canada found inspiration from the Rochesters and Knights Templar. I cannot pronounce anything, I am sorry. Jorrit, which is Luke started making speeches on the environment and apocalypse. The group began to grow up to about 400 members, and in the 90s, the group began to get smaller and smaller. In 1984, the group believed that members would need to go to a different spiritual plane in order to survive the environment from the apocalypse, and be reborn on the planet orbiting the Sirius the Dog Star. Now, their method of transportation was fire. So essentially, they burned themselves to go to the other planet. In September of 1994, the group killed a member who began speaking against them, so they killed him. And then, days later, on October 4th and 5th, 2 solar temple buildings in Switzerland went up in flames. This is one of those weird cults that would kind of follow aliens and stuff and look at the sky for answers to go to another spiritual plane. It's very weird that in order to get there, they believe that they had to burn themselves, which I find really weird. And it kind of goes into the next conspiracy theory slash cult about another religious organization that believed kind of the same thing, but the way they went down was way more controversial than the way these guys went down, how they burned themselves and would attack people who would speak against them, which is very weird and kind of extremely scary to think about it. So yeah, don't join cults, kids. And now, the third and final cult is the cult of Heaven's Gate. This is a weird one. Stay with me, people. Here's the gist of it for you guys so you don't have to hear me ramble a lot. In 1997, a Hale-Bopp comet was in the sky. It made the religious group Heaven's Gate commit a huge mass suicide. The cult was in Rancho Santa Fe, California, in a mansion. 39 people died, and their bodies were found inside the mansion the day after. The cult believed that the comet would bring a UFO with it that would rescue them from impending end times. However, the only way to head to outer space was for each member to commit suicide. Each member, including the cult leader Marshall Applewhite, was found in the house, laying on mattresses draped in purple cloth, all wearing identical shoes and black clothing. This, I think, is by far the creepiest out of all of them I talked about, simply because imagine one of the former members went to the house, and imagine walking into the house where you find a whole bunch of dead bodies on mattresses, covered in some cloth. I don't know, it's covered in some sort of cloth, and you see them all laying dead. And they all committed suicide. This is absolutely insane. I mean, I don't understand what really it was about. And even the fact that there's still actually a website for Heaven's Gate up, you can literally go to the website. I'll leave it right here and put a link in the description down below. There's still a website up, and you can find how they left and how they were going to survive, and it's so weird. Apparently they were trying to take some of their life form, and they're only driving their bodies and call them vehicles, and it's just so creepy. And there's many rumors going around saying that it was simply one suicide and 38 deaths, because they believed that the cult leader, which was Marshall Applewhite, or what he calls himself as Doe, they believed that simply he tricked them to take suicide, which, I mean, it's insanely disturbing. I mean, even all mass suicides are extremely disturbing. However, it's just so weird to hear that happen. I mean, it just blows my mind. It doesn't make any sense. Cults are just really freaking scary, guys. Just really scary. Well, guys, that about wraps up my Conspiracy Friday video about cults. It's very disturbing to think that there's cults out there that make people commit suicide, murders, all these other really disturbing things, simply to join a cult, to sacrifice people to a god or something like that. It's just so extremely weird and creepy. And yes, all of these cults were real. I am not making any of this up. They're all proven, and you can find them all. I'll leave a link in the description down below where I got all these articles from. But it's just insane. I can't believe all of this happened. It's very, very weird. Well, that about wraps up my video. Thank you guys so much for watching this. Be sure to hit that button down below and subscribe. I make new videos every single Monday and Friday. However, that will soon change once I go back to school. I know, single tier. But if you guys do like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and comment down below what would you like to see next on Conspiracy Fridays. I hope you guys had a really great time listening to these conspiracy theories, and stay creepy, guys, and see y'all next time on another Conspiracy Fridays. See you guys.